think we're good.
I probably should take that way. Yeah, think that way, you know, it's good.
It might have been bigger on that side, but
I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
This works great. That way people just like that. That's what we all told them that. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
Oh, you got your friend.
my pleasure.
Sylvia.
Welcome.
Nice job.
Yeah, we do. We got water, we got German, we got some peppermint. We got all the things. We got cake. I feel bad for down here. We go down there, we're up here. I feel bad for us.
They're a Baptist church.
Oh, yeah. That's not good. Bring down the chair.
I just don't want to turn our backs to to our constituents in the audience.
That's why I said it should have been down there.
Hello, Madam Vice Mayor. Hello, Commissioner Green.
I picked up the water and everything up there.
Howdy doody.
Hey,
Hey. Kayed in.
start over.
Kayed in. Okay.
Now y'all know this new loaf for me. I should have bought me a pillow. Sit in this chair. Hear what I say, Commissioner Penny? I should have bought a pillow for this chair, girl.
Stolen from the Southern Software Incorporated. It's free. That's what we're arching.
It's a thought. 601 who started. Who's on
Do you want to start? Okay. We're ready.
The red,
Installation.
I am. Like to call the Alachua County Board of County Commissioners and the joint meeting with the City of Archer to order for March 17th, 2025. I guess I'll turn it over to the mayor to call this meeting to order. I need to have the motion first.
Move approval of the agenda.
Second.
We've got the motion in a second. Are there any further discussion to the motion that's on the floor? Are there any citizen comments to the motion that's on the floor? Seeing none, those in favor of the motion vote by the sign of aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. This is our annual joint County Commission and City of Archer Commission meeting to talk about the present, anything in the past, and certainly our future and our vision as one of the municipalities within the county. I welcome everyone here. I stated earlier there is just a small token of a small city of refreshments in the back vestibule of the chamber. Please help yourself anytime. It's carrot cake with nuts, so I'm sorry if you're allergic to nuts, but it is a homemade carrot cake, and there's bottled waters back there. So anytime you would like a refreshment, please do. Restrooms are also in the vestibule in the back for anyone who needs to take a break. I guess we'll go ahead and entertain our introduction of a quorum. Do we have a quorum? Okay. Our city, interim city manager is recording the meeting, and it's also on YouTube and available for those that can't participate this evening. I'll entertain a motion for the adoption of the agenda from the city. I have a motion from Commissioner White. Second from Vice Mayor Bailey. Any further discussion from the dais? Any discussion or comments from the constituents in the audience? Hearing none, all those in favor of the adoption of the agenda say aye. Aye. Aye as well. Nays like sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, I guess our first item, congratulatory recognition plaque, I guess. For me, I guess. I don't know. For you.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yes, yeah.
And I don't know if this is on or off. Is red on or off?
It's red, it's on.
I was waiting for the prayer.
We,
Need some tonight.
yeah, we don't.
I wanted to bring that to you because you weren't at the event. I brought that to you since you weren't there. Yes.
There's,
Or where you was at,
yeah, we're sharing
thank you.
cost containment.
Yeah, we do.
We can do that.
We can do it.
That's what I was waiting around for.
They are happy to pray if you'd like me to. I'm happy to pray for the meeting. You just let me know.
Absolutely. Ms. Lopez, would you allow her?
Sure, please, pray.
Thank you so much. Reverend Pisco from Archer United Methodist. It's good to be with you tonight. Let's pray. Most holy and amazing God, we thank you so much for the gift of this day and for the gift of community, for we know that we are better together than we are apart. And so I thank you for each and every person that is in this place, that has given of their time and their talents to be here in this moment. And Lord God, we know that we know only in part. And so in this moment, I pray that your Holy Spirit would be a source of wisdom and discernment and knowledge. I pray, Lord, that you would guide us as we seek to be faithful to serving the greater community, that we would be wise in our conversation and decisions that would serve our neighbors well. May we come into this work, Lord, with a sense of humility, with a sense of openness, with a sense of honesty, and with a commitment to the common good for the greater people. So thank you for this time, this holy moment. And we pray that the work that we do tonight and the conversation that we have will be pleasing to you. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I guess it's my turn now. Good evening, commissioners. Yes, we would ask Commissioner Chestnut to please come down. The reason this is being presented tonight, on the 22nd of February, we had a Black History program at the Archer Community Center. People came from far and near, New York, Atlanta, Tampa. It was, and home, of course, and it was just wonderful, I thought. So, you know, there are so many things here that I could begin to even thank Commissioner Chestnut for. In case a lot of you do not know, some of the newer commissioners and what have you, when we were raising money for the Archer Community Center, and we raised thousands to restore that building here, he was in the House of Representatives. And every time I'd go there begging for money and going before the the Historic Commission, he would I don't know how you got out of session, but
But I
he,
come over right.
He cared about
but he was there every time, and I tell you, we went about 3 or 4 times, and we really did receive, our first grant came through at $381,000, so wouldn't have gotten that probably if he hadn't been up on the hill, you know. So anyway, I just want to personally thank you, along with the Bethlehem Methodist Episcopal Cemetery Restoration Organization, for all you have done in your lifetime, and the way you've contributed to us here in Archer. I really do appreciate it, and I'm sure everybody in the community appreciate it as well. If I sound sick, I'm not. I had all my tests. All right?
Okay.
Gotta read this.
Okay.
Bethlehem Methodist Episcopal Cemetery Restoration Organization Certificate of Appreciation presented to Charles Chuck Chestnut IV, Chair, Alachua County Commission. Please accept this award at our first Black History and Beyond program, where the history of our ancestors / others will get recognition for protecting and preserving. BMECRO salute you for your many years of service. Roberto Lopez, President, February 22nd, 25.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I just want to apologize to you again on my occupation as a funeral director, and most of my funerals are on Saturday. And this particular Saturday, we had 3 funerals, and I would say that our funerals run sometimes from an hour to 2 to maybe 3 hours, sometimes 4 if it's more Pentecostal way. Yes. So I couldn't make it, but again, thank you, Ms. Lopez. Thank you very, very much
You're quite
for
welcome.
the recognition of me. I did it from the heart, and you know I'll be there every time. I just couldn't make it that Saturday.
Yeah, well, no
My
apologies.
incidents, but
No-
I
no
just felt
apologies
bad 'cause
needed.
I didn't make it though. That's all.
But what I will do is I will forward you some of the, like the speaker's speech. The speaker came from Tampa, Florida. She was excellent. She received a standing ovation.
Oh wow.
So I'll forward you that speech. We also had a 1-hour PowerPoint presentation, which showed a lot of history, some that I didn't even know about. But I was really pleased with the program, and next time you'll be there.
I will.
But I will be retired. I'm announcing this too. I am retiring December the 25th.
Before you go, turn it around. Thank you.
I've given 20 years of free service to Archer, so I'm retiring.
That's what I need.
But I'll put this thing in here.
Just say,
Yeah, because I'll talk all night.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. God bless you.
I have a lot of pictures to send you also. Okay, yeah, y'all come on.
Come on.
From-
Thank you very much, Ms. Lopez.
You're quite welcome.
Thank you.
I didn't put on my-
All right, there you go. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
item will be State Road 24, Archer Road. I think our staff will be coming.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Mayor, Jeff Hayes, Growth Management Director with Alachua County. There was a request to have this item on the agenda, basically related to 2 separate projects. There's the ongoing improvements to State Road 24. So as you can see, if you drove out here, there are turn lanes being constructed at Southwest 111th and Southwest 143rd. Those are being constructed by FDOT, Florida Department of Transportation, as a safety and operational project. So those will be completed in the next few months, hopefully. Further than that, the County Commission initiated, and along with the Metropolitan Transportation Planning Organization, requested from the state a PD&E, or funding for a PD&E study. That's a planning, design and environment study of 4-laning State Road 24 from where it currently ends just west of 75th Street, Tower Road, to 122nd Street. And that project was funded in last year's legislative session, was signed by the governor, and Alachua County has taken on the responsibility of doing that study through a consultant, and Brian Kaufman from Public Works is here if you have more questions about that. But that study will be kicking off shortly to find out the requirements of what will be necessary to 4-lane State Road 24. Beyond that, the commission decided to request the next stage would be actually the finalized design of the project, the final engineering design, and that is potentially being asked for in this legislative session. So we don't know the outcome of that, but that would be the next step before obviously any construction funding could be put towards the road. So that's where the project is at as of right now, would be to study the 4-laning from 75th Street to southwest 122nd Street. And I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Are there any questions from the board, county board?
I think the timeline is in the packet, but just briefly, what is that design study time period? A year, 2 years?
It should not be longer than a year, so that should be kicking off shortly.
Just for the audience. And the only other question that I have, and again, because I've had citizenry in the community asking, why those two roads why were they selected for the left turn? I know it was a DOT decision, but is it also safety because of public school buses, public school system buses, or just egress, emergency egress, access out of Office State Road 24, because of a storm, or what was the purpose of that?
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Chair, what I would say, I did actually reach out to FDOT to ask that question this afternoon. I did not hear back, but knowing their process, it would have been an analysis, a crash analysis. It would have been primarily based on where there had been accidents, and so they do that analysis, and that's where those locations were chosen.
Thank you very much. Any other questions from our commission?
Since I was just glad to see that they was starting the study to 4-lane the road. That's yeah. I mean, that's a big need. That is, you know, the traffic out there is getting worse and worse because more people are moving into this side of the county and over into Levy County. So I'm glad to see that.
Other questions from the constituents here in the audience? Any questions from anyone in the audience? Yes?
I'll just talk to him. Did you see the paperwork that was given to us?
Yes.
Okay. It's inconsistent, and I still don't understand. Is it 2,250,000 or 2,500,000? Because there's numerous papers that conflict each other.
What was requested was $2,500,000. What was funded was $2,250,000.
So that works?
Yes.
Okay. What does the lobbyist have to do with anything? I'm curious.
Sure. So the county has a lobbyist that works with us in Tallahassee, and so when we have these type of initiatives or proposals, legislative initiatives, what the lobbyist does is knows the process, helps us get the right paperwork and the right cues with the right legislators, and then keeps us abreast of how it moves through the process.
On here,
This funding is also federal, the grant funding gets go into the federal arena.
This funding is specifically state funding, so there's no federal funding involved in this appropriation.
you mentioned the timeline, but I saw on the paperwork here where it looked like it was not to be finished until 2027. Is that correct? You know what I'm talking about?
Let me look up what we've got.
Exhibit
Yeah, it's in
A,
the backup.
PD design to be completed by June 30th, 2027. Is that just
That's the DOT requirement for us. We would have it done sooner than that, yes.
So, you want me to come up here, right? Yeah. So with all the construction going on, it looks like they're trying to widen the road. And I thought that maybe they were adding a passing lane, but you're saying they're only doing 2 turning lanes? That's it? Wow, it really don't look like that. And are they widening the road or something? Cause it looks like a whole lot more is going on than just doing 2 turning lanes.
So one thing I will say is I also requested the plans, but I did not receive them as of yet. But what you're seeing, and I'll just use the 143rd example. So it is a relatively high-speed road. So in order to have the queue length necessary for the turning lane itself, they're widening more. It's wider, longer than you would think. So my understanding is they're just putting in left-hand turn lanes at those locations, but there's a long queue distance at the speed of travel to get the vehicles out of the lane and allow them to slow down enough to be able to make the turn.
So the one turn is coming off the top of the hill.
Yes. Madam Manager?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and they also, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but they also have to relocate the utilities so that are in the right of way that they're moving over, so that also that's a lot of what you see too, they're relocating those.
Okay.
Good evening, Bill Lewandowski, citizen. So quick question. What's the projected rate of growth that we're planning for on this? Because as I looked at some of the traffic studies, especially as you're going from Archer over to Gainesville along that road, and of course at this major intersection here by the gas station, the current rate of growth seems to be quite high, especially when it comes to larger vehicles. So what are your planning assumptions in terms of growth, in terms of traffic growth, and in particular for larger commercial vehicles like trucks?
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Chair, it's hard for me, without having all of those documents in front of me, what I would say, generally speaking, we do have a transportation model that we run, and now for all of the communities, information is now our Metropolitan Transportation Planning Organization, which is the main transportation planning body for the community, has gone to countywide. And so we're just starting our long-range transportation plan process right now. And one of the largest part of that process is actually running a new model. So it's a computer model of the transportation system, which calculates in growth. Generally speaking, the growth rates are 1% to 2% per year. Hard for me to say at these specific intersections and on these specific segments whether truck traffic is growing at a faster rate, but that's generally what you see. And then obviously as growth happens in different areas, different intersections may be affected differently. And so that's what the model will look at in this latest process. And that process actually is kicking off right now and will be a public process. So please keep an eye on the county's website, as well as the Metropolitan Transportation Planning Organization's website for information on those meetings.
Okay, Commissioner Alfred.
I had one more question, Mr. Hazen. Is there, sorry. My question is, do we take into account growth outside of the county when we are looking at those transportation studies?
Yes, so we look at the population growth in the county as well as in the surrounding counties.
Thank you.
I have some questions.
Sure.
I live there, and I can't see why you haven't put ahead, you made Gainesville a destination city, Alachua County, with no thought about the explosion and growth. And it seemed like it take 10 or 15 years to do something. I've been here for 18 years, and I think there should be we should be all the way connected up to Tower Road, have that much growth and wattage. But what are you going to do? You're going to put a little Band-Aid on it, and then 10 years from now, it should be such an explosion of people coming here. And I can't figure out what the people are thinking anymore. I mean, I drive to Gainesville and try to Daytona 500. The traffic is so heavy, that it's unbearable. I feel like I'm in Tampa. I've gone to Tampa. It's better organized than this county. And why do we have to wait so long? You're so worried about the couple utility lines, but you should be having 4 lanes on each side to make up for the traffic. You see the traffic when we come from Archer all the way into Alachua County. Sometimes it takes me a half an hour. So don't you think ahead? I mean, why is this taking so long? And we've been here for 18 years. Different commissions have been here trying so hard to widen the road. We just don't seem to get it done.
Okay, Commissioner Prizia?
Yeah, I guess he's looking at staff, but I think a lot of those questions you're asking are more of a political nature, so I'm just gonna take a stab. First, it's a state road. Archer Road is a state road. It's not our road. It belongs to the Department of Transportation. The Department of Transportation runs models regularly and makes decisions about capacity on those roads and whether or not those roads have the capacity to deal with the growth and the traffic that's surrounding in the area. As a metropolitan planning organization, we have a say in that. We can kind of put it forward. And we continue, and under actually Mary Alford's leadership, really have been putting forward the idea of this 4-laning and got the buy-in to do that section from the state. And it's very, very expensive. I don't know the total cost, but just the study alone is costing $2,250,000. And that's just to study and get a plan together. That's not even to actually do the widening and the paving and all that. So part of it, is about political will. Part of it is about budget and how much money there is. And also, widening a road doesn't always solve the problem. There's actually a lot of studies that show that widening a road doesn't necessarily, or adding lanes, doesn't always solve traffic problems. There's a lot of other things that need to be thought about in terms of the way traffic flows, the way lights are timed, what roads feed into that. All of those things are considerations when you're planning transportation. So it's a complicated answer, but I hope it gave you some sense of where we are and why we're where we're at.
Commissioner Cornell?
Yeah, let me add to that. I've been on this commission for 10 years, and I would say that we have been advocating for this for as long as I've been on the commission. As Commissioner Prizia said, it was under Commissioner Alford's chair of the MTPO that we actually were able to expand the MTPO, to expand it from just the city of Gainesville to the entire county. That then gave us the ability to bring some of that decision-making actually in-house. And so over the last year, we've taken a lot of steps with the MTPO, which I'm going to say is why we are having what we're having right now. So I know it's very frustrating, especially if you've been here for 20 years, but I would say this commission has taken some pretty extraordinary steps to get the state on board to where we are today. I would also say that for the 10 years that I've been on the MTPO, there hasn't been a year that Fletcher Hope hasn't come to the MTPO to say to the state, hey, we need to expand that road. So government moves really slow. State government moves even slower. But now that we actually have some local decision making, I'm starting to see some things happening. So it's really not fair to actually blame our staff, who is actually the one that is doing the work with the state to get us to where we are. So hopefully that won't happen with another speaker. And I think we ought to have all the speakers and then answer the questions at the end. This back and forth doesn't work for me.
Yes.
Bob Kosicki, citizen. So actually, I've been waiting longer than 30 years. Back when they bought all the property and it was going to get done, and then Newberry Road got done. But that's here or there. Again, that's more political than anything else.
Right.
I'm not worried about that. Just worried about what's getting done. So MTPO, from what I understand, is going to take care of getting the road built from Tower Road all the way out to Parker Road. So when it's done, is the state going to take it over, or will you guys continue to service that?
It's a state road.
So basically, the county will continue to service that road after that? No.
Correct. It is a state road.
State road, so the state will take it over.
Yes.
They don't take it over, they're doing all the work. We're just asking them to appropriate the money to that project over other projects. So we ask them to prioritize that project.
Okay, I guess I don't understand why the county had to go through that instead of the state coming in and doing it then.
The state asks us for our opinion.
I see.
They say, what roads do you think we should prioritize? And we said, this one.
Okay,
We are doing the study, however.
right,
That's the part we're doing.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, I get it now. And I appreciate everything you've done to help make this come about also. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello again. I'm sure y'all are aware that hopefully we're going to be getting wastewater, at least a first step of wastewater in Archer. That will hopefully allow some type of growth. We haven't had any, but we want smart growth and well planned out growth. With that said, Mr. Mayor, it was, I don't know, 6 months ago, 8 months ago, when we had a gentleman from the DOT, and he came and spoke and talked about their long-range planning on how they have Archer Road on their radar, but I think to your dismay, it was much further out than anyone wants. And I know this gentleman seems like he's frustrated, and rightly so. So I would encourage you, if we could, and not 1 year anniversary or so of him coming last, invite him back and see what the newest is, and also we'll have a better sense of where we are on the wastewater in that timeline as well.
Roberto Lopez. I guess all of you know that I really fought to get that road widened for many, many years,
Yes.
along with, and you know about it. But anyway, I stood on the streets on the road up by Menton in the dark, counting the cars and the trucks. And this was like 22 years ago. And during that time, they said, okay, I went to a few of the MTPO meetings and stuff, and they said, we're gonna put it on the list for 2025. Well, I've been here 25 years, it's not on the list. What I am gonna suggest to everybody is that we know that the county is they're doing whatever they can do, and the whole issue was that little mile and a half or whatever it was that you had to get in and help with. That's been going on for years, okay, that little space. So we're accomplishing something there. But what I'm gonna suggest to everybody is that you lobby, and I think they even have some of your representatives' names on this package, that you start writing letters now. Because that was in 2020, I mean, like, I know I started working on this maybe around I came in 2000, maybe 2003. I started working on that road. So all these years, and they said 2025, and we haven't even gotten to the FDOT yet. So that's where we need to go now, people. And that's where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna start. It doesn't take but a few minutes to write a letter. So I would suggest you start with that, leave the county be, and let them continue what they're doing right now, because I think they can't do anymore.
Okay. Sure. Well, we're gonna probably take maybe one more comment and then move to the next item.
You wanna take his first?
Yeah, well, yeah, and then yours, yes, okay.
Bill Londasky, I just had some numbers I wanted to share with the commission. I had a reason to do some research on traffic analysis a couple of months ago, and I went to the Florida DOT website, which is great because it shows all the traffic studies. So just some numbers I came up with, and I'll defer to the professionals if I'm wrong. So when I looked at the traffic study on the intersection as it goes from Bronson to Gainesville, so I showed an average annual daily traffic count of it has gone up from 20 to 2023, 13.04%. That's on that one as you're going through that intersection to Gainesville. As you're going from Williston to Newberry, okay, on that road, and you take into account the traffic that is merging in as it's going through 170th, that's gone up from 20 to 2023, 126% on that intersection. As you're going from Bronson to Gainesville, as you're going from the other side, so this is the other side of the road by kind of the old Maddox factory, and it was measured from the county dump going to, that has gone up from 20 to 23, 18.42%. So I understand maybe on the average the county is 1%, but as I looked at the numbers on the intersection, I'm kind of concerned. And some of that is a dramatic increase in truck traffic. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mr. Jeff Hayes.
Hey.
Mr. Hayes, when they're doing their studies, have they done them during hurricane season? Because 19 is I guess they're gonna try to make it 6 or 8 lanes for evacuation. That's gonna mean from Bronson, because we know we're a real thoroughfare here. Have they looked at any of that? Because that brings through a lot of traffic during, and we had, what, 3 last year that affected us.
Yes, ma'am, Mr. Mayor. What I would say is they're not doing their traffic studies during, they are planning for the average daily traffic. I would say on a separate track, the state is looking at evacuation routes. So they are planning for evacuation routes, and that is going into the emergency management planning. So to that end, yes, but in terms of this project and, they're looking at why it's funded right now, it's probably primarily because of the growth in traffic.
But that's the problem, they look at it after the fact. And the problem we get is, if that, what is it called, Sun, on 19 that they want to do.
Yeah, Suncoast Parkway.
That's it. If they do that, then we know 19 is gonna go straight into Bronson, cheaper, and it's gonna come through us. It's gonna come through us. So why not, instead of taking it to Parker Road, bring it on out? It just seems you're putting money into turning lanes, but you're gonna stop it at Parker Road. I know I'm speaking to the wrong person, I know.
And Mr. Mayor, ma'am, Commissioner, what I would say is, this would be a very expensive project just from 75th Street to Parker Road. So doing one, getting some of it done once instead of waiting however long it would take to be able to do it all the way to Archer is the way to go.
But the property's already bought up. Mine was bought up.
Just to take this somewhere, and again, this is my 20 years of interest in this project. Thank you, Commissioner Cornell, for speaking about being a pleasant matter with the MPDO. But I remember talking to Mr. Tyler with District 2 DOT when that 1.1 miles was controlled by the MTPO. And I was told by District 2 DOT that when the MTPO managed to approve that 1.1 miles, that would jumpstart what they already have at that time in their long-range planning. It would move it way up, all the way for the 4-laning from that juncture, just the 1.1 miles. It was just going to be Hale Plantation from 75th. It would allow them to then budget the 7-8 miles going into Archer and into Bronson and through to Bronson. And again, Mr. Tyler may come back and say, I didn't say that, but I remember him presenting to us and saying that they had in their 4-laning project already Bronson going into Archer. It was being controlled or managed by the MTPO. That had to be done first, and it made logical sense before they could take 4-laning and then shrink it down to 2 lanes into an urban area like Gainesville. It made sense. We've finally done that, and I thank you very much for not only making it 1.1 miles, but now it's $13 million project that was 2 or 3 million when it was 1.1 miles. It's turned into 13 million, but we've gone 3.5 miles plus. So I thank you very much for that effort and the dynamic in the political arena. And I hate to say it, but somebody already said it up there, of sometimes how the bureaucracy just gets stymied with this. So thank you very much. Thank you,
Okay,
Mr.
all right,
Chair.
thank you. Next item is the Holly Hill Stormwater Grant Matching Assistance. Is that on your side, man?
I guess I had asked for that just to ensure that I hear a voice from the county commission and Archer's ability to go from a financial emergency situation and have to release ourselves of several grants that we knew we could not afford. But this was an alternative plan for this additional Holly Hill Stormwater Grant, and and this was Swanee River Water Management representative coming and speaking to us just in the last month, talking about there were ponytail or dovetail grants that could be considered to assist us with that match through the county. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but this was more just a placeholder to give to you all, that if this does proceed, if you can, just guide us in who we go to at the county level with this. This is something that Swanee River Water Management representative presented to us at our meeting recently in the last month. I got that. Is that kind of what everybody took away from us?
Yes.
And I didn't know if you all had any information on that or could just take it back to staff.
I didn't get it, receive
And
any.
it's just helping us, it's like a dovetail grant that helps us with our match so that we don't lose this project as we've lost.
Did they leave any information with you all?
No, and I didn't do my homework to reach out to that representative of Swanee River Water Management. I will, and then
Okay.
I will get our staff to just give it to you all, just.
Yeah,
so
get with
we
our
can get a
staff,
process.
yes.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
have-
we've got until like August, September, so we've got a little bit of time, but you know how that goes. It
Yeah.
moves very quickly, so. I just wanted to leave you all with that for discussion and just understanding. And then when I get that specific information, I'll present it to you, Mr. Chair,
Okay, thank you.
as an opportunity to not lose this stormwater project for Archer.
Okay. Are there any other public comments to this? Okay, seeing none. Our next item is the Newberry Charter School System Approval Discussion.
Again, Mr. Chair, this was another one of my just items to add on there. I wanted to just hear the voice of the county commission regarding the decision of Newberry to move forward with their vote on the charter school system. And certainly apprise you of Archer's concern at the 50,000 foot level, as we had multiple public meetings regarding this. The concern was that there was no determination of where that concentric circle would be in servicing the school children in Archer, where the cutoff would be, and it was, it was spoke to us about concentric circles that may cut off somewhere on County Road 346, and then that population that's now being bused to Newberry would be cut off. And then, no clear decision on where those students would be bused, what school they would be zoned to or whatever, and it's just, it's the heightened concern now of Archer. Guaranteed supposedly that if you have a child or, a family member that's currently in the elementary school and moving up through the system, they will be captured in the charter program, but then thereafter, or anyone that's relocating to that zone, no man's zone, if you will, there were folks that were considering moving here at that time when we had those meetings, and they were making alternate decisions if they couldn't be told where their children would be zoned, that they had preschoolers and that they would be going to an elementary school, and once this charter program begins, if that child was left behind, so to speak, where would they be zoned? And they were asking us, to reach out to the public school system and know that if the charter plan was approved, and it was. And so it's a heightened concern for Archer. Specifically for our Archer Elementary School. That population and that future population going there, for the principal at that level, and I know it's a school administration, maybe conversation that we need to have, but we're certainly concerned because we've lost our middle school or a junior high school and a high school in the past with our complacency or not screaming loud enough or arguing about it loud enough. We certainly don't want to do that with the Archer Elementary School. It's, has a charter magnet program, it's a capacity, and again, just a heightened concern from our position to you at the county about this decision, so.
Okay, Commissioner Wheeler?
Thank you.
pressure.
Is it on there?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. Commissioners and Mr. Mayor, I went to that meeting, the school board meeting last week, and the Newberry citizens that were against the school came forward and asked the school board to please challenge what had come down about the school, and they're going to do it. The school board is going to challenge. That is the best place for you all to make your concerns made. It's the school board, because that's actually that's where the power is. But I can tell you, having been to this school that you have here, it is a jewel, and I highly recommend that you do everything you can to make sure it's protected, because it. And from what I understand, this is your choice. It's your community school here, and the same way that Newberry jumped in and, had their school changed, you would be doing the same thing, and I don't see that happening. And so I don't think it's going to be a contamination issue. I don't think that it's going to filter from one community to the other, especially with the quality school that you have. To me, it's odd and somewhat ironic that the only elementary school in the county got an A is the one that they were trying to make, take out of the public service. And so, there are a lot of concerns about that. I was invited by some teachers to come to that meeting, and I just happened to be there when the Newberry School came up, so I was really glad to be there. Commissioners, I realized too that a lot of us should go to those meetings, because there are concerns that are brought up in the school board meeting that would have, that we could help be impactful on. But I did want you to know that those citizens that came forward were able to, and I think there was maybe 7 or 8 of them, that's all. I mean, they didn't fill the house, but it was enough that they were able to.
Passion there.
That's exactly right, to move the school board to working on that.
And just to dovetail into that, and it's not on the agenda, but it is something that I've followed for the last 4 or 5 years, is that with the exponential growth westward, specifically the southwest part of the county, from what I understand from school concurrency, the next scheduled high school H is going to be in the southwest quadrant of the county, Parker Road West. So, that's my next tactic with that, is to follow that strategically, look at our stakeholders, property-wise here or whatever, and do whatever we can as an offering to it would be wonderful to have a high school in the Archer area, along with our wastewater phase-in program. I just think it would jumpstart our growth, and all of our population is committed and has that heartfelt feeling about their children's education. So I'm going to follow that very closely, and you'll hear from me about, not so much about the widening, because you guys have started that project, but certainly school concurrency in the next high school. Where is that going to be? Who's going to give the property or whatever for high school H, and I would love for it to be an Archer. Thank you.
I think we have asked all of our outlying municipalities to send contingents of people in to talk to not only our board but to the school board, because that's what makes an impact, is having you all show up. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. 2 things. One, Mayor Marlowe had sent a message he was going to try to make it. I don't know if he's still trying to make it. But it is only Newberry Elementary. So it doesn't affect our kids unless they are actually students at Newberry Elementary at this point. However, I'm not sure, but I do believe that Newberry said they were going to try again for the middle school and the high school, and if they do try to, get those switched over, then it will affect all of us. So we definitely need to be vigilant and paying attention to what's going on with that. But right now, it's only Newberry Elementary.
And that's being challenged.
Yes.
And, Mayor, I was gonna say, we do have a few that attend Newberry Elementary because of their, I love if they're Head Start or VPK. So there is a bus that buses a few of Archer kids into Newberry Elementary. So, it does kind of affect us, a little bit. So
hopefully. So we need to ask, our school board for a BPK here. Yes, I'm not really sure if Archer, I think you have maybe a VPK, but that's something for the school board, I guess. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, that's all, Mr. Chair.
That's all?
Thank you.
That's all? Okay, our next item is the City of Archer financial recovery position status update.
Seems like I'm stealing the microphone tonight, I'm sorry, but, what I presented, I think it's in the narthex out there for anyone that'd like to see it. I've tried to bullet a summary, because I'm quite angst, sometimes how newscasting and news reporting keeps grasping the financial emergency of our city. I'm not trying to diminish the concern about that, but I will say, representing my dais, the constituents in the audience that are dedicated citizens that continue to work with us, come to the meetings, give us grades, test us, tell us things that they know should be also looked at. It's a community effort at this point in our recovery, and it's truly a recovery, a financial recovery. It is a financial emergency because we're still in debt service situation from an accounting standpoint, but we're in full recovery. And this bullet summary will share with you, some things. I guess I could just go through them and read them, and then we could have discussion or whatever if that's necessary. We effective 12/1/24. We had a debt service of 1.5 million that was discovered, and it really was discovered in November, at the time that we exited our city manager out of here. I'm not saying that he was accountable for everything, but certainly worked with cause and some of our actions, and not having balanced budget, not having reconciliations like we should have had them, certainly not paying 941s with our payroll tax liability. Again, I'm speaking of myself. To me, that federal level of a debt service was the biggest nice bear, but bear in the room at that time. It was $178,000 plus running principal, interest and penalty. That effective in 3 weeks ago was paid in full, all interest, all penalty, a total of $178,000 with an additional $76,000 in penalty and interest paid in full. Not offering compromise, but paid the debt service in full. 941s are current. They are reviewed by this commission, and we have a second meeting. We have 2 meetings a month now minimum. One of the meeting that's later in the month is strictly nothing but financial review and corrective action steps, and we've taken that and put that in place. Effective 2/1/25, the opened wild spaces, wild places, 300,000 K recovery bank account was opened at the request of you all at the county level. At this juncture right now, and this is not through the end of this week, we have put into that interest-bearing account, per the directions of the county, $76,500 of that misappropriated $300,000. It's a start. It's a strong start. We've got I think a 3-year period that you all gave us to do that, but certainly due diligence in all of our cost containment and cost corrective steps for that. Not that that's the second bear in the room, but certainly something that we're recovering because we want to be able to utilize that for all our citizenry in the next few years, and we have 3 years to do that. Again, number 3, I already spoke to that. It's been paid in full, effective 3/10/25. Number 4, all IRS 941 payroll taxes are paid timely and current and reviewed at our meetings as a commission basis at this point. Micromanaging, if you will, but we actually see the remittance of those. Number 5, the contract financial accountant CPA staff was in place effective back in December. We contracted with Mr. Dallas Lee from Newberry, who was the finance director at the time, from 11/24 to 2/25. He became the interim city manager of Newberry, and that's why we've had a transition and a change. And now using, again, assistance from Newberry. The Assistant Financial Administrator, Miss Amanda Hagan, has taken on his role without skipping a beat and does the same contractual services at an actual reduced rate. That's not why we used her, but she's moving as a full CPA accountant and assisting us in our continued training, our continued conversion into the Edmunds accounting system that we had from 3 years ago at a price tag of about $68,000, and we never could get it actually live. And she's actually on the cusp of doing that. We're having local, regular onboard meetings and training sessions with Edmunds now. And a lot of the systems are beginning to get in place, not only water billing, but the other systems that the system afforded for us, preparing for the wastewater system coming. We have a commitment from Dallas Lee. Mr. Dallas Lee is interim city manager, that if they choose their city manager and elect that person, he's also going to avail himself to go back into that role if we wanted it. Not that Miss Amanda Hagan is not doing a stellar job at this point and availing herself of the same contractual hours each week. All currency, and again, I think this is just important. We could have had an exodus of all our staff. I don't know if, how I would have felt if I was a staff going through this. We have not lost any staff. If anything, they're cross-training. One of them is a public works employee who is now doing the accounting clerical work and being taught by Miss Amanda Hagan in that process of correct billing and accounting at that level. And I'm very, very pleased to see that kind of cross-training. We also, and we will remain with the 7 FTEs at this point, have an interim city manager that was the deputy clerk, and she acts as that interim city manager she has in the past, and Miss Deanna Altop, and she is doing it again now. The $2.5 million Phase 1 regional wastewater plan, where are we with that? It's shovel-ready project. Went to the legislative appropriations session that was with our representatives. I guess it's been about 2.5 months ago. I have an appointment with our representative, Chad Johnson, on the 25th on Legislative Day, again to just share with him some of the details of that shovel-ready project and some of the stuff that I'm deep diving in right now on our emergency responses, on the systems and things like that Newberry has in place. They've shared all of their plans with us, and I'm digesting that. And we have a piggyback engineering firm that we're going to use to carry this project on forward. Once we have our second reading, I think, from the commission for approval, and be using Curran and Woodard and Curran, who is presently with the Newberry Municipal Wastewater Expansion Project, and we thought that was healthy for us to use the same engineering firm, and they are going to assist us with all of those plans to put those in place for the safety and well-being of the citizenry here as we get ready for that shovel-ready project. Again, I talked about in our week mayor system, we are meeting now 2 times a month on a minimum. Call special meetings if we need to, and we can continue to have that in our corrective step action and plan and our commitment, and also transparency. That's the biggest thing that I would like to continue to build, is the trust factor with our citizenry, not only our regular constituents that come to the meetings, but all of the citizenry in Archer, that there's a rebuilding of trust here that we can recover, not only recover, but be stronger than we've ever been with our systems in place for the city and its municipal operations. As far as just where are we going, the city administrator and the permanent position is to be advertised beginning in April of 25. We will actually post it, and we feel that will, I think it's a consensus that it's going to take a longer period of time than the 4 months it normally takes to get that person in place, just because of our situation and some of the negative reporting and things like that that have gone on. I don't know how fast it will be, but normally in the past, in my 14 years of tenure here, it's taken about 4 or 5 months process. It may take us a little longer, but we have an interim city manager that's prepared to continue in that capacity. Our City of Archer full-time account specialist, number 10, is to be advertised beginning in April of 25, with the position planned right now for us at that budget planning period of July 25th. That's just to put it a marker spot on the map. Again, I think that position is going to take longer. That's my opinion. Don't know how the rest of the dais feels. And I think that the price that we pay for that person to come on board is going to be very expensive. So every day, every week that we're using the contractual assistance that we have assists us with that cost recovery efforts that we're in the middle of right now. Number 11, our total current City of Archer debt, and I've listed the specifics behind that as $980,680. It is not $1.5 million. And for any reporters that are here, or any newscasters, or any, and in all due respect, please do not put newscasts on there that we're still in a financial emergency with $1.5 million in debt. We still have a financial recovery effort, but we're not $1.5 million in debt. Specifically, $980,680. Mayor's bank loan is $625,955 of that at 6.25 interest. Biggest new bear in the room to try to get that managed so we're not paying such a high interest rate. Kimley Horn, which is the current contractual engineering company, but again, remember what I said, we're piggybacking into the Woodard and Kern engineering firm, so we're going to negotiate with them on that balance of those scope of services that we still owe them. And then Gator Sketch Architects, unfortunately, was a fee for architectural services for a grant that we had to release and give back, and that was the community center, the multipurpose recreation community center. We lost that $1 million. We didn't lose it, we just did not have the funds to try to match a $1 million project. So we still owe the architect for the design of that. So bank accounts reconciliations are completed currently through April of 24 with our contractual CPA services, and our staff here, sounds like it's way back, but from the reconciliation that wasn't done from 23 to now April of 24, it may be even it may be May or June of 24. We're getting closer and closer to being able to complete that fiscal year period so that then we can target our next audit from our contractual CPA firm, Powell & Jones. They normally will prepare and schedule in May of each year for that previous fiscal year. So as soon as we get that reconciliation of the rest of the months into the fiscal year, we can then prepare for the fiscal year 24, which is October 23 through September 24 audit, to be scheduled right now. It looks like it may be June or July before they actually come in and begin that audit process. There is currently, again, specific to the 941 payroll tax payments that are on a periodic basis regularly. There's dual authorization review, both check payments and all ACH payments, including full commission review of all the 941 payroll tax payments at our commission meetings. And that's ongoing and effective February 25th through the current, both the ones in the past and all of those catch-ups and paid in full, and the ones that currently come up every 2 weeks. Number 15, fiscal 2024-25 amended balance budget was completed in February 25 and scheduled for, again, legal, please correct me, I think for our readings for the City of Archer Commission for our approval 3/24/25 meeting. And then fiscal 25, October 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2026, City of Archer operations budget planning scheduled to begin in June of 25. I ran out of space on page 1, but another thing that I know Commissioner Cornell, that you supported us just as a community through the North Central Florida Planning Council and making a motion from the floor of that council meeting, which is highly unusual, but I appreciate it, and thank you for that support as your chair of that commission meeting, to have our series of planning from the master planners from North Central Florida Planning to review our comp plan specific to our industrial zoning areas. and that will begin in April for the first workshop, public workshop. We are not going into a moratorium on this. We're still though going to amend the comp plan and have the full review. It will take about a year, but we will certainly be as transparent as we can be, have multiple workshops. I know that there are 3 workshops scheduled. I think that schedule was given to you, and I appreciate you for allowing Mr. Scott Coons to be timely in getting that in place. A little bit longer than I expected, but I appreciate the support from the county on that, because sometimes from the floor things can get done. So if that's where we are from Christmas to now. Entertain any questions if I can answer them.
Okay, I got Commissioner Cornell and then Commissioner Alford.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, Mr. Mayor, thank you for that update. This was actually more than I was expecting, and I'm glad to see it. Got kind of 5 points. So the first one is to thank you. I appreciate you all addressing the federal issue. I appreciate you all addressing what we directed, which is to set up a separate account, and I think $76,500 is a good start. My second point is I also appreciate the fact that you all are taking an active monthly role of reviewing everything. I think that is what is needed, and obviously you all recognize that, and I think that's critically important. My third point is more of, I guess, a statement as an auditor, previous auditor with Ernst & Young. I would make it my highest priority to get those bank recs done. Until you reconcile the bank account, you do not know what is wrong or what is right. And I know you are caught up, but you are still a year behind. And that would, like, I wouldn't do pay your bills, but I wouldn't do anything. I would get that done. You have to get that done, and until you get that done, you are not going to have a level of comfort of what your budget is moving forward. So that's my third point. The fourth point is, my last 2 are really questions. One, have you heard from the state with the request of them helping maybe refinance that current debt? And have you heard back from JLAC? I know when I spoke to our lobbyist, the state is aware of that. I know you're meeting with Representative Brennan, or Representative Johnson. Commissioner Alford and I are going up, I'm going up tomorrow. Tomorrow, and we'll be meeting with him as well. So we'll certainly speak on your behalf, but I've been curious as to whether or not you have direct conversations.
No, any formal response, no.
Okay.
So, and again, that on the 25th, when I have my appointment with Representative Johnson, something about
that. That's kind of, that will be relevant from, we are a subdivision of the state. The county is a subdivision of the state. So whatever the state does, the county then will need to then obviously respond to.
And certainly with any appropriations requests that we have, I'm always fearful of that, but that's my concern, is to show the due diligence, the shovel-ready project, corrective action steps and recovery, but also to not lose the
it's difficult for the state to issue a grant to a city that's in a financial emergency. And so from that standpoint, having this corrective recovery plan, I think is great, but you're going to have to get those bank recs caught up. And then my last question would be if I could ask that your staff just forward to us the amended balanced budget, which was completed, I guess, last month. And I was really glad to see the schedule that Scott provided from the North Central Florida Planning Council. It does seem like a long time, but actually, when I kind of honed in on what you're doing every month, it's probably appropriate when you're making the adjustments to the comp plan to have your community have a say.
Involvement, and that's what slows the process, but is appropriate.
Yeah, I'd rather take a little bit longer, but it be a plan of the communities than rush through it, so.
That includes them. Thank you.
Thank you, I conclude. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Commissioner Alford.
I want to echo about everything that Commissioner Cornell said, and also to congratulate you guys for taking the bull by the horns and getting it under control, because this was impressive, and I plan on taking it with me to Tallahassee tomorrow and sharing it with Johnson, right? Sean Johnson, yeah. And with our meetings with him, and that was one of the items that I had for discussion was what we can ask the state to do.
And just for transparency, I'm not into press releases, but I am going to do a press release regarding this in a positive light, but also as my predecessor as mayor, she would always have quarterly town hall meetings. I am in my first quarterly town hall meeting, which is scheduled for tentatively scheduled in my calendar right now for the end of April. You know how that goes sometimes. But I'll certainly share these things with our citizenry, and especially our wastewater project and things like that. Thank you.
Yeah, I was also really gratified to see that everything is still moving forward in a timely way, and that as a citizen of Archer, it made me very happy. So thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Wheeler?
I just want to congratulate you on the speed with which you all have been able to address and remedy. I've always been a big fan of Archer, you know, and the folks here, the integrity that is very much a part of this community, and I really do appreciate the fact that you all got right on this. And like you, I hope that the press picks up the best part of this too, which means that you all have taken that debt from 1.5 down to 980 as it's listed, because that's a lot in 3 months' time.
For a population of 1,500.
Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. So congratulations, you all. Just keep your nose to it, because I don't know how the state could challenge anything that's going on here with the amount of energy you all have put into the recovery. You know, it was very unfortunate, the circumstances that led to this, but you all have addressed it with the full honor and integrity of this community, and I salute you for that. And I'm anxious to see you all pull yourselves right out of here without any help from anybody, by golly, you know, except maybe the state. Well, you're going to have our support, that's for sure. You've got, you know, we are the best cheerleaders you've got, but to watch you do it on your own is remarkable. It's remarkable. It is.
I'm impressed.
Good, I'm impressed too. So thank you all for your efforts. It's kind of fun to watch. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Okay, any further discussions? None? Okay, our next item will be public comment. Are there anyone with public comments? Yes, please.
Cost containment, sharing.
You're fine, thank you. Reverend Melissa Pisco, and I have the privilege of serving First Archer United Methodist Church, and I also, thank you, Mayor, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, thank you. And also I serve a church in Gainesville, right off of Archer Road, so I had not planned to speak tonight, but sometimes something happens in my spirit, and I just feel like I have to be obedient to it, and so let me say this. I want to encourage you as our leaders. I know it's a hard time right now, right? And I just wanted to encourage you. I know that there's so much going on, both in our local government and in our county government and state and national. And I know, like you, in the position that I'm in, I have people that I am caring for that are afraid right now. Afraid for their own safety, afraid for their children's education, myself included. I have a child that is disabled, and I have wept many tears as I wait to see if the services that I already have to fight tooth and nail for are going to be stripped away. And there's a lot of lost sleep over that. Even as I have a prayer life, I lose sleep over it too. And then I know that we have people who are worried about what their income is going to look like with their Social Security and things of this sort. Anyhow, none of that I know is news to you. I know you know this, but I want you to know that I'm praying for you. And none of us can do this by ourselves, right?
Right.
None of us can. And so I want you to know that we are here. I am here. And I want you to be encouraged. And I just wanted to stand up and say that publicly tonight. And so know that if you need some prayer, you call me. But know that our churches, I can tell you absolutely that First Archer and Celebration, we're praying for our leaders, and that includes you. But if there's anything that we can do, if you need us praying, if you need us showing up somewhere at school board meetings or wherever, you let us know. Let me know. And we're here to support you any way we can. So thank you for your faithfulness and for your service and your willingness to be public servants. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
came across too strong just walking into this meeting, and I haven't been going to a lot of meetings, but I know Ken, I know Chuck, I know Helen. I've known them for years, and Miss Alfred I just got to know, but I know you're trying your hardest, but it is frustrating. And I wasn't trying to be mean to all you people up there, so I think maybe I just kind of jumped out of the cannon and went up there, you know. So I agree with the passion, that it's a hard time. I know people on both sides of the aisle, people are scared, we don't know what to think. Some people come to me, Republicans and Democrats, I'm an independent, and they go up to me and say, well, President Musk must be doing everything. I said, what? I said, he's not the president. He said, oh yeah, he's the president now, because he's got the money and the power, and it does seem that way. A lot of people are afraid. We don't know what to expect. Everything changes every day. And like I said, friends are Republicans and Democrats. I'm an independent. But it's very confusing for everybody right now. And a lot of people are afraid they're going to be out in the streets or be put into detention camps. I mean, it's getting pretty wild out there. And this is what I'm hearing from all different people that I know, educated and uneducated. So God bless everybody in this room. We all have to work together as a country. You just can't pick fights and we are, you know, just we have to reach over the aisle, all of us. So, okay, I'm done. I won't say any more.
Okay.
What's his name?
Yeah. I forgot to ask.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm in a thinking mood tonight. Think with an A. Okay.
She's always in thinking.
First of all, I'd like to thank Mayor Hope. In preparation for our Black History program, he spent his money. He included me. He included 2 community service workers. And we cleaned up the community center. That's why I'm sick. No, I take that back. I take that back, but I sure did get sick after that. But anyway, we cleaned up. I just want to thank you because he did finance the cleaning of that center. And I want to make sure that people who use that center, and this is for for our commissioners here, that when they use it, when they come up here and ask for it, last thing y'all want to tell them, clean it up. They got to mop the floors like we did and all kinds of stuff. Okay? The next thank you is to the Alachua County Commission. I guess you know I was going crazy about the Shallow Road and the BME Cemetery Road. Well, we have graded, what is it, asphalt?
Millings.
Milling?
Put asphalt millings on.
Who are you?
Public Works.
No, seriously, who are you?
My name is Brian Kaufman. I'm the Assistant Public Works Director for Alachua County.
Did you talk to me?
Yes, ma'am. You were the one that talked to me about getting the millings out.
Well, I thank you. I want to thank you personally. And also the commissioners for making this happen, because now our ancestors up there in the cemetery, they probably never thought we would have anything other than a dirt road. But now we do have the millings, and we have that long road going up to Shallow where I will be buried soon or sometime, because I'm getting of age. In case you don't know, I'm 86.
Wow.
So I'm preparing myself. I told my family, make sure if that road is not fixed, to call Chestnut. So anyway, I just want to thank you again, and also thank you, sir, for talking to me, because I usually get what I want. Somebody coming? Okay, all right, I do. Yes, you do. Being aggressive.
There's Jenkins out there too.
Good evening. My name is Brian Kaufman, and I'm the Assistant Public Works Director for Alachua County. And I did want to thank Ms. Roberta for
bringing that to our attention, and we were able to do that. We also are just about to complete 170th, going down to the county line. I went down there today. Boy, it looks good. It really does. New sidewalks by the schools, and really ought to be proud of that. And the milling jobs, they look great. Like she said, going up to the historic cemetery, going to the Shiloh Church. And also, if y'all remember, when we were here a year ago, y'all asked if we could do 143rd Avenue. It had a bunch of big holes in it. And so we were able to coordinate this year and get some good prices on that, and got that completed with at the same time. So, a lot of good stuff going on. Yep, yes.
Gorgeous.
Good. Glad you're happy with it. Yep. And we also, this coming year, we're going to be installing flashing lights at the school crossing. For the kids, when they want to cross, they can push the button and the lights will flash. The rectangular rapid flashing beacons is what they're called, RRFBs. So we have that. Materials are coming in this month, and we will probably do that next month down there. So continuing to move forward, and I'm glad you brought that up, because we did want to highlight some of the achievements that we did this year.
Thank you.
We definitely noticed all of the roads.
Let me just thank you and you can thank your employees. I had the opportunity to get up close to a couple of them. I got stuck at the school one day going out. They had the road 170th stopped up. I couldn't get home unless I went to Shiloh. They made a way for us to get through there. So, I mean, they've been really good about accommodating everybody.
There are lots of good things going on around Archer, and the paving does look wonderful. Thank you. I don't ever like to miss the opportunity to say thank you for our library, because it's certainly a shining light in our community. And I was thinking the other day when the library first came, one of the first programs we had was being able to teach people to read. And I thought, oh, this is just going to be wonderful, because people are going to come forward and we're going to teach people to read. Not one. But last year, a teacher from Santa Fe called me and asked me about that project. So I think, God works in his own time. But our library is wonderful. The other good thing going on around Archer is our farmers market. The Archer Historical Society sponsors a farmers market. We have lots of good makers and bakers and crafters and artists in Archer, and there are not many jobs, but we provide a safe place for these vendors to sell their wares. And the other goal is to bring people to our museum. We have a museum here in Archer that it's a well-kept secret, but people are coming and good things are happening, and thank you for your leadership.
Okay, thank you.
Has the farmer's market been in place? 3 years?
Yes, we started in May of 22.
22, thank you.
Lori Costello, citizen. Wanted to ask, is there any plans to do South 241? And I mean from Archer up to Jonesville. That road is really bad.
Yeah, I don't know when.
The window, yeah.
Yeah, Brian might know.
Is it on a schedule?
I think they're looking.
Take a look at the schedule and get back with you.
Okay, yeah, that road's been really bad for a while. Okay. Or 241, what did I say? I thought 241.
She said 241.
241 south, that's right.
That's right, yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
It's,
241 north, well, to
It's
me,
going from here.
From Newberry Road
Yeah.
to 41 South, yeah.
Okay.
I thought they did the north end of it, was the south end of 241 north, they have it there.
Going right out of Archer towards Jonesville.
Yeah, there's a little road that cuts up in there that goes back to Tractor Supply, and I don't know what the road is,
Yeah,
but I think from there to Jonesville, they've done it.
yeah. Well, from here to,
It was two sections, we had it split into
There's two sections, right?
well, from here, probably about the first 4 miles is really bad. Yeah, yeah. Well, and I wanted to say that Mayor Hope was voted in January. So we got a new mayor, first time in 4 years, and we are delighted with him. I think he shows a really go upbeat attitude and wanting to get things done. And so I was really impressed with the thing that was typed out. Yeah. So, yeah, we're really happy with him, and I think y'all will be also. So, thank you very much for coming out.
Anyone else?
Hello, Gene Arnold. First of all, with all due respect, Mayor, I enjoy your invocations each time, but she
got me beat.
It was, wow, I was inspired.
And my apology, you all know that I always start with an invocation. I just went with neutrality.
Yeah.
And you do a fine job, but she put a little bit more into it, I think, tonight.
That's her job.
Maybe that's why she's so good at it. I don't know, but it was impressive. Secondly, we've got Queen Lizzie here. I hope that she has something to say because she's doing some good things in Archer, and it wasn't too long ago where she had one heck of a fundraiser over there at Spurrier's, and I got to see some of her vision for what she wants to do, and it's fantastic. Mrs. Green, she's being very humble. What she has compiled over at her museum and the knowledge of herself and some of her fellow historians is very impressive, and I've had a chance to go over there a couple times now. And also, I will say this, and I probably shouldn't disclose this, but they have a lady over there that sells $5 eggs for a dozen, fresh eggs. She sells them out very quickly. So just letting you all know that. I was disappointed to hear that we did not get the funding for that project, but I understand. And with that said, Commissioner Wheeler, you've come here a couple times.
Yes, sir.
You were over at the big meeting we had on another subject. You were very passionate. You spoke for 5 minutes. In that passionate speech, you said a lot of things. But what stuck out to me was you were talking about promoting historic Archer and how that was September 9th, 2024, how the next day, September 10th, there was a big vote, and you talked about 1 cent. You talked about Archer, Hawthorne, Waldo being some of your pet cities. They say you don't get anything unless you ask for it sometimes. So I'm asking for it. What can you do with a historic twist? How do we get grants? How do we get funds? What does Archer, these folks, residents, what do we need to do to tap into some of those monies that you talked about in that 5-minute speech? Thank you.
Commissioner Wheeler?
May I respond?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I will certainly respond. You know what, we are blessed. Thank you. We are blessed in our community to have a lot of experts and a lot of historical groups who have access to those grants that you're talking about. And if we know specifically what you're looking for, we can connect you with those people who know best. And I love getting into a good fight. I'm coming off this board in 2026, and I'm getting all kinds of trouble because I don't have to worry about being reelected, you see? You know, so please, if there's something that we can help you do, you know, we know the people to call. We know how to hook you up with the right folks.
Well, I'm not sure how to put all the paperwork together, but I know Ms. Green has a passion, and as someone once said, show me the money.
That's right. Okay. Well, if you've got some ideas as to what kind of monies you want for what kind of projects, then we can better direct you. And there is, I used to say there's money out there. I don't know if we can say that so much anymore, you know. But if you let us know what it is that you're looking for, because we've asked Hawthorne and Waldo the same, you know, just let us know so we know how to direct your concerns. And, you know, if you need some good writers, I'm pretty good at it, you know. And like I say, I'm coming off soon, and I'll have more energy that I can help with that kind of thing too. So please, just let us know what you need.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I promise you, I had not planned to say anything. Thanks, Mr. Arnold. But I want you to know Archer, Florida is my hometown. I was born and bred here. It's my stomping ground. I have been doing research since 1985. I started with BMCO Cemetery, okay? And it's so nice when I know I'm doing what is right. When I see other people that use my information and write grants and be successful without my permission. And to me, that is not right. I want you people here, not you people, I want you all to know, the county commissioners, I know each of you, and I appreciate you all so much because you all look out and protect us. I have been knowing Fletcher for a long time. You are doing an excellent job, just as Iris Bailey did, and just as the other commissioners, Joni White, I've known you forever. I appreciate each and every one of you because it takes all of you to make things happen for Archer. I love Archer. I'm not going any place. My family came here in 1839. Do you think I'm leaving? I want, and I know some of you all are not going to like what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. I have earned the privilege to say it. My friend. Okay. I want us to come together and help this young man with his project. And I know we can do it. We got to work together. We can't fight against each other. We got to work together. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anyone else?
Bill Lewandowski. Yeah, okay, I'll stick to the point. Two things. One is that I noticed that we have a fairly fair number of HUD housing here in Archer. I'm not sure what the percentage of the population is, but of our total housing units are, but I think it's a pretty high representation. So, you know, I don't have anything against somebody who's in affordable housing or HUD housing, so don't get me wrong. But it seems to me that Archer is bearing a fairly high burden of supporting those folks. You know, they don't pay property taxes. They're placed here by outside agencies. And so it would seem to me that there should be some additional assistance from the county to the city of Archer to support that. Perhaps it warrants somebody to take a harder look at this, you know, something that can come up with some objective data. I'm just looking around, looking at the large number of houses and thinking to myself, these are not producing income for the city. And we're providing additional services to those folks. They're placed here, they may not have transportation to get jobs, whatever it might be. All the different things that come from taking folks and putting them somewhere just so you can provide some housing for them. So something to think about. The second thing I'd like to discuss is at our last meeting, the city was talking about having to pay for false alarm bills. It was Mr. Fletcher, remember how much that was? Mr. Hope, it was pretty high, wasn't it? It's like $3,000 or $4,000. Yeah, it was a fairly good amount. And to me, I understand why they do it, but I have a hard time understanding why one taxing authority is turning around and charging us. Now, we pay the sheriff for the services here. The sheriff has some kind of an office over in that building. And to me, it seems like, kicking the law of unintended consequences in the butt. Because if you turn around and you're going to say, well, you have these false alarms at a city-owned property, and I apologize, we're talking about the city community center, and we're going to start charging the city of Archer when there's a false alarm, what's going to happen is what they did, they turned the alarm off. So what good does that do? So I think there needs to be some reasonable amount of thought on how we handle these types of things. I understand why they do it, but I also think it's becoming a source of revenue, and that's not what's supposed to happen. So please think about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments? Public comments?
Hello. So my name is Jahi Kalfani, and I've been here for a while as well, not as long as this young lady here, but I was born in 1997. My parents ran Archer Community Access Center. Miss Roberta invited me here to this meeting, and I'm happy that Archer is on the road to recovery. I'm very interested in, once the city gets to a point of recovery, what the future looks like and being involved in that future. When it comes to grants, I think a big thing for getting grants out is telling the history and the stories of Archer and the people here. We have businesses in downtown Gainesville, Hal Bazaar. We have a record label called Dia. We've been developing a research institute. Research, heavily important. The technology to back the research and implement it even more so. So I've been in Miami for the past 7 years, back and forth between Miami, Gainesville, Archer. My family still lives here. And now I'm back, and I'm coming back to connect dots and hopefully be a part of the new direction that Archer's heading in. So being able to work with people like you to tell stories that help get funding here, because there's still a lot. Federal funding, everything's kind of funny right now, but there's still a good amount of funding out there, and there's people who support good causes and things with the right intention. So I just wanted to say, Fletcher, I don't know if you remember me, but I remember you from ages ago. Good to see you. Happy you're doing well. But you guys will be seeing more of me. I just wanted to say hello and make a little comment. So.
Okay, thank you. Of course. Start with the county version. Okay. At this time would be the county commission comments. Commissioner Prizia.
Sure. I have a few responses to the audience, and then I guess first to Reverend Pisco, thank you so much. It's rare. I mean, actually, this whole public comment was very rare. Usually public comment is a lot of people complaining or the issues that they're having, the struggles that they're having in their community, and looking to their public officials for help. But there was a lot of gratitude tonight, and we really appreciate it. We need it, and so thank you very much. It doesn't go unnoticed, so thank you. To Ms. Lopez, you are an inspiration when I see women like you that stand up for their community and the things they believe in and speak their mind. It really makes me feel good because I'm one of those ladies, and I really appreciate seeing it. And I'm hoping that that's why you look so good at 86, and maybe I'll have a little bit of that. But I also want to know what it is that you're drinking, because I want to look that good at 86.
And I will continue to speak.
And of course, the same to Miss Lizzie Jenkins, just such an inspiration. Thank you for all the work that you're doing. And like Mary Helen, I've written a lot of grants in my life, so if there's a way I can read something that somebody's written or things they're putting together and offer suggestions, I'm happy to do that. To Bill, HUD. So HUD housing doesn't mean that they're not paying taxes. Usually those homes are rental houses, and the people who own them are still paying taxes on that home. It doesn't take the home off of the tax rolls. They're renters, and what it means is that HUD is paying a portion of that rent, is all it means. So they're still paying a portion of that rent based on whatever their income is, and then HUD pays the remainder of that rent. So having HUD housing in your community should not mean that it's taking anything off of your tax rolls. And in fact, it's meaning that you have workforce here who can come and do the jobs. In fact, we need more housing all over. What I would be concerned about is that those HUD vouchers are at risk right now. It's one of the agencies that's at a target for federal cuts, and so those people may be without housing soon. We have a continuum of care that looks at housing and tries to work to place people, to help people. But that's going to be really overtaxed as we see a lot of these federal programs that support people cut. So your community is going to be struggling even more maybe than it has in the past, and we just ask that you look out for your neighbors, you help the people you can, and you let us know when you can't, and hopefully we can try our best to fill some gaps where our federal government is choosing to cut. And then to Jahi, thank you for everything you do. I think he might have just ducked out, but with Halv's R&D on Dia, what he's doing in downtown Gainesville, what his local business is doing is really amazing. It's really bringing a new light and life and community to downtown Gainesville and young people that are creative and have good, positive energy. So I recommend you plug him in, and maybe someday he'll even run for office here in Archer. So, and last thing I want to say is between the last time we had this meeting and this time, we had the ACCRP memorial service out here, and I just wanted to say thank you to all the people in our community, the Historical Society and Lizzie and all of the many, many people who were involved in making that happen. It was such a beautiful ceremony. It was so well done, and it was just a real testament to the power of community and what can happen when people really put their mind to something and really care deeply about the real stories of our history. So thank you to everyone who made that possible.
Okay. Commissioner Wheeler?
Yes, thank you. Mr. Arnold, I gotta tell you that a lot of us were hoping you were gonna put a brewery over there. I gotta say, I'm from Kentucky. And no, I'm from Kentucky, and they made a great deal of money off that bourbon trail, you know. And in this county, you know, we had a Sip and Seven program here too, you know, and we were really hoping that the peanut factory up in High Springs, you know, when they got their little brewery next to that. But the other option was this one here, you know, so, you know, just let you know that there were a bunch of us hoping that there would be a magnet here, and that you would be the magnet to bring tourists in to Waldo. And then maybe we could even get the train to stop back here. Archer. I mean, sorry, Waldo is the other one too. We have interest over there as well. And Archer, no. Archer is dear to me. The people of Archer helped me raise my boys when they were all little, and they're 40 now. Yeah, I've got stories to share. Yes.
No, we've had that opportunity for
Yes,
public
sir.
comments. Now it's just county commission comments and then the
I'll
city
find you.
comments.
I'll find you. I'll find you. But I just wanted you to know that, you know, that we were really, you know, we were really hoping that we would have a good draw here, and that you might, you know, keep that in the back of your mind. Just saying. All right, but no, it's really wonderful to be out here with all of you all in Archer. You know, I've been stuffing bags all day. I don't know if you knew that we have the World Masters coming into Gainesville this weekend, so we stuffed a whole bunch of bags today in preparation for that. So I hope you all will all come in and take advantage of that. We've got 99 countries coming in, and I worked with a young man today from Kenya who's got a group coming in from Kenya that he's getting ready to help chauffeur around the community, and so you all come on into town. It's going to be a big event. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Commissioner Cornell?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I love Archer. You know, Gene will tell you that my brother and I, we grew up in Oak Crest, right off Newberry Road. And I spent my summers throwing watermelons in Newberry and Archer. And that's how I was initiated to Archer back in high school at Buholtz. But I was really initiated to the politics of Archer back in 2012 when Frank and Ms. Lopez and my dad and my mom and I were rolling around here running for county commissioner. I was running against Hutch, she was running against Byerly. We both lost, but man, did I win. I got to meet Frank and Roberta and many of the community members that are here. And then y'all threw me in this office 2 years later, so I thank you for that. But yeah, what's that?
And we didn't be firm.
Well, that's okay, that's okay. And that was, you were 73 then, so that was 12, 13 years ago. But I really got a sense of all that had happened in politics from Ms. Lopez and Ms. Jenkins during that time. And man, we have come a long ways, I guess, in the last decade. Reverend Pisco, Gene was right. He knocked it out of the park. And I heard you. I heard your public comment. There are a lot of people afraid. And there are a lot of people that really don't know what the next couple of years bring. And what I would say is this commission and this commission down here, we have your back. We have each of yours back. And if you need us, we are here. And we understand our role. We understand the power that we have. But we have the power to protect our people and to serve our people. And I know that I and my colleagues intend to use that power. The library is important. It's a huge part of this community. You have 3 of the 6 governors of the library sitting up on this board. Commissioner Alfred, myself, and Chair Wheeler. Chuck's been on that board for a long time. And so the library and the investments we make out in Archer are important, and we know the impact they make. And I think Hope said, or maybe it was Jean that said that, Ms. Green, what you all have done, I remember 3 years ago being out here and you all talking about, we're going to do this. We're going to do this thing with the farmers market and the museum, and man, it's making a big impact. I loved what I saw with Queen Lizzie and Jean back and forth tonight. And I think that's my highlight of a community that may not always agree on stuff, but has each other's back and is coming together and recognizing the leadership of your mayor from multiple people. You know, and I know, you know, Fletcher's one to say, it's not just me, it's my whole commission. And I couldn't agree more with him, but Mr. Mayor, your leadership is obviously coming through. So congratulations on what you all are really building. And I wish Jockey was here. Because, man, if Jockey isn't the future, I don't know what is. I mean, to have someone like him
absolutely
step up and want to be involved in this community, you know, the past, present, and the future, I love all that. So my closing comments are, this commission cares for you all. And we know that you all care for us. The gratitude was obvious tonight. But I will also say that this commission doesn't only care for you all. Our staff really cares for y'all. Jeff, Missy, Public Works, Brian, thank y'all for being here tonight. But more importantly, thank y'all for doing the things that are just happening because you know that this is what we want. That crossing light is important.
Yes.
And
that's awesome.
And I mean, I knew it was in the works. I didn't know you were going to bring it up tonight, but I appreciate you bringing it up tonight because those are the things that are happening in the background from a commission that cares about its community, and you guys are definitely our community. So thank y'all for the hospitality tonight. I appreciate the spiciness. You know, I think that's what makes a community great, and you all are great. I love you very much. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Alfred.
You know, it's, I'm going to try not to cry. I moved up here, 3 years ago, and this is my backyard now, and y'all are my neighbors. And when everybody was walking up here to speak, I could write about everybody's name down before they got up to the podium because I take notes on everything that everybody says. And I couldn't do that 3 years ago. And it's so good to know you all, and it's so good to have you all in my backyard. I wanted to say thank you also to Reverend Pisco. I have a confession to make. This May, I'll probably be the chair of the Regional Planning Council. And there's a tradition that the chair of the Regional Planning Council, Fletcher's the chair now, that the chair does the opening invocation at every meeting. And I don't have a lot of practice in public prayer, so I asked Reverend Pisco to help me write a really good one. but Reverend Pisco's my neighbor. I first met her when she came to do an invocation at the county commission meeting, and I wrote her an email and I said that was one of the best invocations that I'd ever heard. And where are you a pastor? And it turns out she's a pastor at the church right next door to me. And so I've gone to that church a few times now. So I just wanted to tell y'all all thank you. I am your neighbor. If you ever need anything, feel free to ask me. If I can help you with anything, feel free to ask me. I'm there for you, and that's all I've got to say right now. So everybody else had answered all the questions, so I don't need to repeat all that. I know everybody's ready to go home or to have another piece of carrot cake. And thank Mary for that. All right.
Okay. I guess I'll say my comments at this point. First of all, thank you all for having us here tonight, and I hope we addressed most of your issues tonight. And I just want to say thank you to Mrs. Lopez for the award, and Frank, of course, and then also Miss Lizzie. She's a part of the ACCRP. She's I guess one of the members for us on that board for the county in terms of the Alachua County Community Remembrance Project, which we dealt with the lynching of the victims that happened in Alachua County. So she served on that also with us. And listening to your concerns, we hear you. We hope to address some of your issues in the future, but we're waiting now to hear more information from the state so that we'll know how to move forward with helping and all of that good stuff. So thank you all for being here tonight, and thank you for having us. So I'll turn it over to the mayor. Thank you. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
it's
I'm sorry. I forgot Commissioner Pritzker.
That's right. I just saw Johnny walk back in, and he didn't get to hear us, but we all said you're a light in downtown Gainesville. We're so excited to have you. Hope you bring that energy to Archer, and hopefully someday you run for office.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Mayor Hope.
From the city commission, anyone like to say anything? Good night.
Thank you all for coming.
Okay, I'd just like to say thank you to our county commissioners for thinking of us and coming out for this joint meeting on tonight. As we like to say in church about God, he didn't have to do it, but he did. So you all didn't have to be here, but you're here. And so we appreciate you all so much. And wish you all could have helped us out a little bit more, though, with the financial part, but we understand. But and I also like to say to my fellow commissioners, which is a group of people that I enjoy working with. And, as on all boards, we're not always on the same page, but we don't let it, bring any strife or anything between us. And so I appreciate each and every one of those. You all, and to the Archer citizens, we appreciate you all so much. And I tell you what, it was a breather for it to be a thank you moment tonight. We don't get that a whole lot, but we appreciate you all, and I'm sure that you all appreciate us. But this has been a wonderful meeting. It has, and it was an encouraging meeting. I just want to say to my Archer citizens and fellow commissioners and pastor, I'm a pastor as well. Keep me in prayer. I missed my meeting on last week because my husband was in the hospital, has suffered a third stroke, but God is good. And but I appreciate all of you all so much. I know sometimes, I would like to show up for everything and everybody, and I found out that I can't do it for everything and everybody, but I'm there as much as I can be. And again, I say thank you, and I love, as Mrs. Jenkins would say, I love Archer. If I didn't love Archer, I would not be here. Left for a couple of years and I came back. And so I love Archer. I want to see growth in Archer. And I want to see people want to come to Archer. So thank you all so much.
Vice Mayor.
Well, good evening again. And like Commissioner Green said, thank you everybody for coming. Thank you, county commissioners, for being here, for everything that you are doing. And I'll say this, January 13th, yes, I sat up on the dais and asked, we got to the part for a new mayor. I'm happy to have you, Mayor Hope. I had to ask a couple times before I finally got a nomination. So I had to give it up because I had health issues, which I'm sure nobody else knew about because I didn't tell everybody. So I am doing much better now that I'm not in that seat. Thank you. So that is that. Anyway, you are doing a good job, and I agree with Commissioner Green that even when we don't agree, we agree to not agree, and we end the meetings when we're done, and we are all still cordial with each other, and we still say hello and goodbye. And correct. And we keep moving on. I was also happy for this meeting to come because on January 14th, when I was online, I wasn't happy with the way that Commissioner Alford talked about us. So I won't go through everything now because it has been a very good meeting, but to be transparent, I was not happy because some of your words was that you know this commission and you would like to see XYZ, and the way it was stated was like we were not people of integrity and that we were doing something or allowing something to happen underhanded. I did not like it then. I didn't think that was the place to talk about it, but I want you to know that I didn't like it. And I made that very clear when we had our next meeting. I also stated the fact of how much you showed up when it was time for voting, and then we hadn't seen you anymore. I also stated as mayor the number of times I had to reach out to the county for help for Archer when I feel that that should have been our representative part. So anyway, I just want to be transparent with everybody. I am very open and honest, so that for me, that's how I have to be. I don't want it to be a question about what I think, how I feel, what I believe, and I do love Archer. And so everything I've done from the time I got on this commission to now has been for the upbuilding and the growth of Archer. You're welcome. Pass it over.
Oh, the joy of being last. I can be brief. They've all said it, everything. Yeah, but I'm the last commissioner. Thank y'all for coming. We appreciate it so much. And we appreciate your support. And at the meeting where we discussed y'all helping us, Commissioner Prizia, you were so, you really made me proud because I felt like you were supporting us. I felt like King Cornell was supporting us. That was it. I'm sorry, y'all. The rest of you, I didn't feel like you were supporting us. But I do appreciate what y'all have done. And I understand we are 5 people too, and we don't always agree. And some things I will support and others won't. And that's all good because that's what makes us for y'all. So thank you all for coming, everybody, and good night.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and the efforts for the recovery started last year before we turned it over, but I am happy that you are continuing.
Just, Archer's known for its first, something that we left out, but it's exciting for our community from the historical perspective of what Ms. Green's trying to do with the depot, what business is trying to do at the end of Main Street. I thank you all very much for the continued support for the extension of the Braid Trail. It's coming through downtown Archer. That's a vision. I speak about it too much. They tell me to shut up at the meetings about it, about the opportunities that that's going to afford us. If we can just get it to turn right and then head to Cedar Key. But, you know, first things first, it's like the 4-laning of Archer Road, but it's a vision. And I'm going to be very excited when the trail even gets extended through the little 1.2 miles or whatever through downtown, and at least comes by the depot. We had our, I think, 4th 5K run a couple weeks ago on a Saturday, had 130 runners. Yeah, absolutely. The last time it was about 75, so, you know, percentage growth or whatever. But there's an interested party to want to know. We've got a dead kiosk down there that doesn't have anything on it. I commit that our recovery efforts are going to be on there. My press release is going to be on there. The support we're getting from the county, this idea behind the turn lanes, citizens are going to be happy to know about that. They know it's coming, and that impetus came from you all at the county level and the dynamic change with the MTPO. I know that. I know that sincerely, and I thank you for that. All due respect to Gainesville and that mix. Commissioner Prizo, I know you're happy to know I'm not going to be standing up there with my argumentation about the 4-laning, but Archer does have a lot of firsts. We're actually trying to something that our little 145-year-old church, the Bethlehem Presbyterian Church, is trying to do now on the National Historic Registry. They're going to present it to us. You all are hearing this first before it even comes before us, but they have already mapped out Church Street and everything that's historic along Church Street with a walking path with actual numbers, and they go to the kiosk to pick up the card and can go all the way to the BMECRO Historic Cemetery. And so that's, hopefully we can become, I think, is it a ready city or whatever, but we've got to establish the historic district before it's gone. And certainly Church Street is first and foremost in that effort. And so they're just exciting firsts that are still out there, just ready for us to start, besides just wastewater and economic development, all those exciting things. But historically, Archer has a lot of firsts. So thank you all very much for being here tonight. Thank you again for all the citizenry and the community here. I have takeout containers. Again, if there's any carrot cake lovers out there, I'll bring the takeout containers until it's gone. Help yourself to water and carrot cake.
Okay, before we adjourn, I just want to thank our staff, our manager, our attorney, and all of our staff that came tonight. They're not always appreciated. So I just want to say I appreciate them for coming to all of our meetings and our joint meetings to hear your concerns along with the commissioners and to help address those issues. So I just wanted to and our clerk, yes, yes.
Thank you. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to thank our staff, all of our staff from, yes, all of them, because it's only 7 and they work really hard and they are very accommodating when, you know, when we as commissioners and citizens are reaching out to them. So thank you, staff. I know most of them watch the YouTube also, so we don't want them to feel left out, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do.
Thank you all.
Okay, we adjourn.